What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Raising Kanan season 4, child. Season 4, episode 5. So we start this episode off with a flashback of Famous, which sort of lets you know that this episode is going to be pretty much about Famous, and it was. So, let me get my microphone a little bit closer. We find out that Famous's mom was in an abusive relationship. I don't know if that's his father or somebody she was dating. Neither here nor there. We have this flashback scene where Famous was getting beat up by the man. Her mom jumps in it. Famous' sister takes him in the room to go hide. We don't know what happened. But later on that night, they're like, we gotta go. They're packing him up. They're leaving. Famous leaves a toy. He runs back in the house to get it. The man finds, because let me tell you what I thought. I thought they had killed that man. Because when they were like, we gotta go, I thought that man was no longer with us, okay? But he was still alive, and he went, to go get, started beating up Famous again, and then the mama stabbed him, and then they ran out of there. We see them go to a homeless shelter, or probably a shelter for battered women or something along those lines. And, Famous is like, Mom, I'm going to always be there to protect you, whatever. Later on, we see another flashback where it looks like they must have got on their feet because they have a place now. They're living somewhere. Famous brings a dog home. Now, I'm going to be honest and tell y'all, I have no idea why we got this. Because to me, none of this connected to anything dealing with Famous that we know of. But neither here nor there. We get this. Now, then we see where the mama goes to the police, and she's like, listen, when I came to y'all after my son had been missing for 2 weeks, y'all said, come back. He ain't been gone long enough. They said, come back at 2 months. She said, I came back at 2 months. Y'all told me, come back. Well, no, I guess she said I came back when he first started missing. Anyway, she ends up talking to Garcia, and Garcia is like, listen, let me explain something to you. We have a warrant for your son. So as far as we're concerned, he ain't missing. He's on the run. And, we're looking for him just like you looking for him. So don't think we ain't doing nothing, but we're looking for different reasons. So the mom so the whole episode, we see the mom, like I said, having these flashbacks, thinking about Famous this and, whatever. So towards the end of the episode, we finally see where Kanan and Jukebox. Garcia tells her that, Kanan isn't a good guy, that maybe that's what happened to Famous, because Kanan is a bad guy out in these streets or whatever. And she was like, that's Kanan's best friend. They've been best friends since kindergarten. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I would much rather have seen that as a flashback. Like, why couldn't we see a flashback of Kanan and Famous meeting for the first time? I mean, I know they were in kindergarten, but maybe the parents remember. Maybe the mama... Maybe Rock was dropping off Kanan the same time Mama was dropping off Famous, and we see them, I don't know, something. And then maybe we could see them again in 6th grade or something like that. But I just didn't see where any of the connection is made. But neither here nor there. So she calls, we see Kanan and Jukebox go by the house and say, listen, we don't know where Famous is. You can't listen to Garcia. He's a liar. But we looking for him. And just know that, we're going to find him. And if we don't find him, we're going to find who did something to him. Which leads you to believe that maybe Kanan and Kanan was the one talking. Maybe Kanan doesn't know. Or doesn't believe that Famous is still alive. So anyway. So then we flash over to Rock talking to Marvin. We find out that Terry is not delivering their supplies, and that basically all of their spots are drying up. And Rock is like, yo, telling Marvin, you need to go lean on Terry. I explained to him that we married now, but maybe he don't understand. She said, listen, lean on him, but don't lean too hard, because at the end of the day, we do still need him to get back on board, but lean enough to remind him we're really not playing games with him. Of course, Marvin was like, no problem. I got it. I got you. Oh, actually, I think I skipped ahead. Neither here nor there. That happens later on. So she also lets Marvin know that Andre has been found unalive. And, of course, they were like, damn, Andre got us out of a lot of stuff. Like, what we gonna do kind of thing. So we see them kind of trying to process through all of those problems that they're having right now. Over to Kanan's stash house, we see OC talking to Kanan. Now we found out that Kanan is skimming money. And OC is like, listen, you really need to stop skimming money because your mama she going to figure it out. And when she figure it out, what you going to tell her? He was like, this might not be none of my business. And Kanan was like, you're right. It's not any of your business. Don't worry about what I'm doing and what's going on with the money. You just keep doing what I pay you to do. Don't worry about none of this. And don't worry about my mother. I got that handled. Now, what we find out later on is we now know why Unique left him alive. Unique left him alive because now he done made him a snitch. Because later on in the episode, we see him meeting up with Unique, telling Unique basically all of that. Kanan is taking money off the top. We don't know why. The supply's drying up a little bit. Not sure what's going on with that. Rock doesn't know what's happening, and this is what it is. And basically, and looks like he bought Unique some money or something. I don't know. But that's why he's still alive. Because I was wondering, why is he still alive? Well, that's why. Because he done flipped him. And is OC on that stuff? Because we keep seeing him, rubbing his nose and stuff. And I was thinking the same. I was thinking. Now, he said he got hay fever. Now, I don't know. He might. But I don't think he does. I think he got another type of fever. Anyway. So then we see Jukebox meeting up with Nora. And Nora's telling Jukebox, that her husband was found dead and that they think it was just a home invasion, that nobody saw anything. And, of course, Jukebox played it real cool. Jukebox was like, nobody saw nothing? She was like, well, yeah, it's a pretty quiet building and the neighbors kind of, really keep to themselves. So, no, they didn't really see anything. The police just think, it was a home invasion. So then she said, Juke, let me ask you a question. And I really don't, please don't get offended by this. Please don't get mad at me. But, you ain't had nothing to do with that, did you? Juke was like, what you mean? Me? She said, well, you did call me and ask me for his address. And then he come up, She said, look, the only reason why I asked for his address was so that if you came up missing again, if he grabbed you up again, I would know where to find you. Now, that was actually a pretty good, plausible explanation, Jukebox. That was pretty good. And she was like, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't want to offend you. And I was like, Juke, that was a good one. You sidestepped that one real good, Juke. So then we see Lou with the A&R director pretty much this whole episode scouting out new talent. So they go to one spot and Lou was like, these people you told me you was going to show me the future of hip hop. This ain't the future of hip hop. This is actually... This old. Like, this is the past. She was like, okay, cool. I got something else. So then they go to, like, this talent showing us this little white boy rapping. And Lou was like, he can spit. Okay, where you find him? She was like, I can't tell you all my trade secrets, But he was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So then they go to his third spot. And it's like almost like a Leaders of the New School type vibe where they're rapping. And Lou was really feeling them. Lou was like, okay, like, I'm really, all right, cool. So they decide they're going to try to sign those last two acts. They back at the office. And we found out that the white boy, his mom is a lawyer. So she was like, that's going to be a little complicated. But the other group, no problem. We can try to work something out with them. So then she invites Lou back to her. She invites Lou out for drinks. Lou was like, I don't drink. So then she invites Lou back to her apartment, to look at her record collection. Okay. Lou agrees, but then he gets an urgent text from Kanan because their mama, we'll get to that later, because their mama, she failed. So he got to dip out, but by the end of the episode, we do see them in bed. So they linked up. I don't know if they ever saw the record collection, but they saw some other things, okay? We see that Unique is still slinking and slurking and lurking in the bushes and in the shadows. He's still taking money to his baby mama, which later on in the episode, she actually confronts Rock about, because she was like, is this you? Are you the one that's leaving money, in my mailbox? Rock was like, girl, what you talking about? Now, I don't know what the hell made her think Rock was doing it. She was like, well, maybe you feel guilty about what you did to Unique. Rock was like, do I have to put up a billboard and let y'all know that I didn't have nothing to do with this man dying. I don't know how many different ways I can say it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. She said, and no, I didn't give you no money. But I don't understand why you complaining. She said, Unique had a lot of friends. Maybe one of his friends is taking care of you. She was like, it's free money. What you mad about? She was like, nothing is free. Nothing in this life is free, Rock, and you know it. So I think this is where Rock is going to start putting the pieces together. Like, wait a minute. The people who I'm getting, like my lawyer got hit, my spy getting hit, like stuff that only people on the inside would kind of have that information. And now, all of a sudden, there's money being delivered to the baby mom. She was like, I think Rock is going to start putting the pieces together maybe at the next episode. So then we see Marvin and Jukebox. Marvin is cleaning up his wound. Jukebox comes to help. And he's trying to talk to her about what happened. He was like, look, we never did talk about what happened. How do you feel about it? Juke was like, look, I'm good. It was either you or him. And I'm cool. I made the decision that I made. And he was like, yeah, but, I mean, are you all right? Are you sleeping that night? Like, what you doing? Because, that's kind of a heavy thing to happen. Like, that could really, that can weigh on you. And Juke was like, I'm good. He was like, oh, so I guess the army got you, okay with that. She was like, if I'm okay with that, I didn't learn that from the army. Like, yes, Marvin, you've been treating her around this your whole life, right? It's not that. So then we see Kanan going to visit a storage unit where he's got a trunk full of money. So Kanan has seemed like Kanan has been skimming money for a minute. Now, what he's skimming the money for, what he's trying to do, we don't know. But it's a whole trunk of money. So I don't know. But I guess I'm sure we'll find out later on. So then we see Rock and Marvin meet up with David, Terry's brother. And basically, they let him know, look, where's Terry? Tell Terry to start moving our product or we're going to have a problem. And David was like, look, Terry's scared because, they shot up the place and he's really not feeling it. And they were like, look, that's not really an option. Like, we know some shit went down. We're handling it. But in the meantime and in between time, business don't stop. Like, that's just a casualty of doing business. And maybe y'all didn't understand what y'all was getting involved in, but now you do. And it is what it is. And that's when Rock told Marvin, you need to go lean in on Terry, but don't lean too hard. Because we still need him to, do what we need him to do. Now, while I already told y'all that Jukebox and Kanan went to go see Famous's mom. So while they were there, Kanan gets a phone call. Come to find out that grandmama done failed. So him and Juke, they gotta go check on grandma. Grandma done failed. They pick grandma up and they call the ambulance and she kept saying, who paying for it? Who paying for it? Who paying for it? So they get to the hospital. Grandma's a little bumped and bruised, but she gonna be all right from the fall. However, the doctor says, look, she really don't need to be living by herself. Like, y'all need to get her a nurse, get her some, 24-hour care because she's dying and she's not going to get any better. So y'all really probably need to get that. Now, Lou shows up at the hospital. Marvin shows up at the hospital. Rock don't come. Now, Rock got the same text everybody else got, but Rock hasn't come to the hospital. Rock is probably paying for everything, but she ain't show up. We'll get to the rest of that later. Now, while this is going on, remember last week, Unique went to go see Sal's widow, and she gave him a number to go visit. So I believe he went to go visit the mafia dude that was running out of Jersey that Unique had an issue with to begin with. And so he was like, first of all, the only reason why I'm even having this conversation with you is off the strength of Sal's widow. But please know, I really don't have no reason to talk to you. We don't have no business to discuss. Like, I don't even understand why you're here. He was like, first of all, I heard you was dead. Like, what you doing here? So Unique basically says, listen, we need to go get Rock. Rock's the reason, Rock is the person that took care of Sal. Rock tried to kill me. Rock killed my brother. Like we need to do this. And he was like, yeah, I don't see no benefit in that. Because at the end of the day, you already know that Rock is connected to Stefano. And so what you trying to do is put me in the middle of a mafia war. Like, this is not me going after Rock. This would be me going after Stefano. And I don't really have any interest in that. Like, I'm not trying to start no war that I know I can't win, because you can't help me. He was like, look, you come in here, you ain't got nothing. You don't have no army. You don't have no organization. You don't have nothing. You just want to come in here out with your own personal vendetta to going after Rock. And you trying to rock me into it off the strength of Sal. Nah, I'm good. He said, let me tell you something. You come back when you got something. You come back when you built up your organization. You come back when you got an army. You come back when you can help me in this war you trying to start. Until then, get the fuck out my face. And they basically throw Unique out, which of course pisses him off. Because again, up until now, Unique's been able to, get people off the strength of their hatred of Rock. But you done moved. He's like, nah, we moving chess, not checkers over here, player. So of course Unique now is like, what, I guess, how do I rebuild this? So Rock goes to see Quan. And he was like, I'm not understanding. You gave me the same amount of money that you gave me before the price increase that you agreed to. Rock was like, I didn't agree to that shit. He was like, okay, but that's what it is, and you owe me some money. Rock was like, look, I don't know what you want from me, but at the end of the day, I didn't agree to that shit, and I'm not doing that shit. Like, there's some real fugazi shit that you doing. You trying to raise prices on me for no damn reason. He was like, your organization is sloppy. People die, and you don't avenge it. Now, mind you, all of that happened after he raised her prices. So you talking about what's so bad about her organization happened after you said you was raising her prices for no reason. You really just raising her prices because you can. And once again, you see a woman and you think you can bitch her around and move her around. And Rock basically said, listen, I'm not paying them prices. So at the end of the day, if that's your final offer, then thanks but no thanks. We're going to find somewhere else to get our product. And so he was like, fine, then I'll be calling Stefano and let him know I'm no longer doing business with you. She was like, do what you feel like you need to do. Do it. So that's when she gets the text from Kanan about the grandmama falling, and she ignores it, child. She beelines it over to the new connect that she trying to link up. And he was like, I thought I told you that I would call you if and when I was ready to build this relationship. And she was like, look, I ain't got time for that. Like, at the end of the day, I need product now. And if you're not going to supply me, that's cool. I just need to know so I can figure out something else I need to do. Because honestly, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm trying to run a business here and I really can't. I can't. He said, okay, well then you need to bring me everybody, all your partners. Like, I know it's more than just you. She was like, okay, I'm going to bring my partners in here, but please understand something. They are silent partners. I run this. So anything you need, you go through me. Like, I don't want you, thinking you're going to link up with the mafia, you getting all giddy that you about to link up with the mafia and cut me out. And he was like, spoken like a woman that's been betrayed. She was like, yeah, a couple of times. Like, I'm not stupid. Don't play with me. So I understand why Rock did what she did with Quan and not paying the new price, but I also feel like maybe she jumped the gun just a smidgen. But anyway, so we'll find out if dude decides to, after she sets up the meet or whatever. So Marvin is down at the hospital with his mama, and I don't understand this mama. On one hand, she's telling him, Marvin, you were the smart one. Rock got you thinking that you're not as smart as her. Rock got you thinking that you couldn't handle the business. You could do whatever Rock is doing and then some, And then she says, I'm ready to go. Like, I need you to help me die. I done picked up. He was like, I don't know where to get that kind of medicine from. She was like, I already got it. I got the medicine. I just need you to basically administer it. Like, I'm ready to go. This cancer is eating me up. I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm ready to die. She was like, she got some extra morphine. She said she bought it off of a nurse or whatever. So later on in the episode, you see Marvin getting ready to try to, like, shoot her up with the extra morphine, and he tells her, look, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. So then she says, you weak bitch. Get out of my face. Like, you are so weak. Now, I said, a minute ago, he was the strong one. No, he was never the strong one. You just thought he was the one you could manipulate. You knew you couldn't get Jukebox or Kanan to do it. Lou wasn't gonna do it. Rock won't even come visit your ass. So you thought that Marvin was the person that you could that you could manipulate to do it, and not even Marvin is gonna do it. Okay. Speaking of Marvin, child, Marvin went to go visit Terry. And basically, Terry is telling Marvin, look, I ain't trying to do this with y'all no more. And he reminds him, they was blackmailing him to begin with, that he was cheating on his wife. He said, listen, show my wife them pictures. I don't even care no more. Show my wife them pictures, okay? He said, because honestly, a divorce is better than what I'm dealing with now. There's nothing y'all can threaten me with that I would care about. He said, as a matter of fact, I need to go tell the police what's going on. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So y'all better leave me alone and leave my business alone, or I'm telling the police. Now, I don't know what he said that for, because, baby, you were signing your death warrant. The minute you start threatening to go to the police, you have signed your death warrant. And that's exactly what happened. Marvin done killed that man. Now, the good news is it'll be a lot easier for them to do business with David than with Terry. However, I don't know how David's going to feel about y'all killing his brother. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we get to the end of this episode, which was, it was a very interesting ending. We see a little boy in the little bodega stealing some liquor out the store. We see the man chasing that little boy. Now, knowing good and damn well that on a good day, that old white man would never have caught that little boy. But neither here nor there, the little boy is running through the streets. That old man can barely walk, much less run and keep up with that little young boy running through the store. But anyway, the boy runs into like an abandoned building. When he's in the abandoned building, he comes across, the white man catches him, the store owner catches him, and he sees a hand sticking from underneath a mattress. He lifts up the mattress, and it's Famous. Now, they have yet to show us Famous's face, which on one hand, I guess they're not going to show us, because what they told his mother was that his body had decomposed and that they're still waiting for the dental records. But they found Famous's ID, and so they're pretty certain it is Famous. This is how I feel about it. Until we get the dental records, I don't know who that is. I ain't saying it is. I ain't saying it isn't. But until we get the dental records back, I don't know who that is. Now, they called the mama down to the morgue, and they showed the mama, and she had a whole breakdown. So she believes that that's her son. But if he is as decomposed as they made it seem like, we don't know who that is. Now, let's just assume for a minute it is Famous. Now, the last scene we see is Kanan, getting the information and having a breakdown, him crying, and you hear 50 Cent voiceover about losing your best friend and yada, yada, yada. Let me say this, though. Who killed Famous? How long has Famous been dead? And why? I would have said Kanan had we not seen Kanan's reaction to getting the information. Now, that could be Kanan's reaction because he did have to put down his best friend, right? If he did do it, maybe that really truly is his reaction to the reality of what he did. I don't think it's the police, because I don't feel like Garcia would have really been going out here and spinning his wheels if it was him. Like, I don't know. But I really want to know who the hell killed Famous. Like, to me, it's so anticlimactic unless they're going to really tell us. Unless there's a story behind Famous dying. It's so anticlimactic. We've been looking for Famous since last season. And it just seemed like he pops up dead in an abandoned building. And they better not do no dumb shit like he OD'd. No. It's got to be something. When they do the autopsy, was there a gunshot? How did his body get there? Why was he even there? Like, it's so many unanswered questions. And I don't know how I feel about this situation with Famous, y'all. I just don't know. I said that was the last thing, but that's wrong. The last thing is Unique reveals himself to Quan, let him know he's still alive. So clearly they about to link up, because we already know he don't have no love for Rock right now after, you know. So anyway, that's it. I'll see y'all next week. Let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.